Alright, so here is Gekiatsu Dai-Oh's individual components. There are 6 of them. What's really cool about this is it's actually the Niningers themselves transformed into their brand new mecha. For Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel, the Blaze Megazord components are piloted by the Rangers and have cool new cockpits with a bunch of fire around them. This seems to be just inspired by the fact that everything in Ninninger had flames or something, because here we are with a whole flaming Megazord. Now, the American release of the Blaze Megazord was essentially the same as Gekiatsu Dai-Oh. The only difference is that the Shuriken was smaller, didn't have sounds. I'd say there's nothing really lost from the American release of this, aside from, like, I think the scale's almost the same too. So unless you're trying to hook it up to a Lion Ha-Ojo, wouldn't really worry about tracking down the Japanese one if you can get the American one for much cheaper. But that is my offside opinion from not actually owning the Blaze Megazord, but just catching it from afar. This even goes down to the fact that the Gekiatsu Dai-Oh included small missiles. These missiles are based on the Niningers to replicate the final attack. So we have Aka Ninja here. We got Aka Ninja. We have 2 spares of Aka Ninja, which, I mean, that's just like, oh, spare missiles. Oh, of course they're Takaharu, but, you know, they could be his dad and his grandfather. You've got Ao Ninja here, Ki Ninja as well, and Shiro Ninja, Momo Ninja, and Star Ninja. So that's really cool. The other cool thing about it is that, yeah, Star Ninja is a base component of this mecha, which is one of the only times I think that a 6 Ranger is included in the base combination of something. That it's a 6 component. Actually, 6 component mecha are very rare. I can't think of any others that are 6 in their base set. We'll move these out of the way. We're taking a look at all of them together because they don't do a whole lot individually. I'd say Shurikenjin's components do more individually. So we're just going to do this as a group. So here we have the Gekiatsu Dai-Oh Otomonin Shuriken, aka the most obnoxious thing I have ever owned from Sentai. I'm just warning you ahead of time. First of all, blade comes off, which is pretty neat. But yes, the sound effects for this are the most obnoxious things I've ever heard in my entire life, and I really don't know how to quantify it into a way to explain it without just demonstrating. So we're going to go through each sound, and each sound will announce which mecha we'll look at next. Therefore, we don't have to listen to all of them back to back. But we will start with the Shuriken. That part is fine. Bringing in good old classic Ichibanto. Yes, that's correct. It makes the really loud wail after each of them. So first off, we're starting with Hououmaru. Hououmaru naturally belongs to Takaharu, aka Aka Ninja, aka if the show isn't about him, then it's not about anything, I guess. This is a really cool looking bird. Actually, it's the least interesting for me. I think it's cool. It's a phoenix based. It's got his symbol on that. The head actually pivots, which is cool. And the wings, of course, move. But that's about it. So moving right along, we have our next sound. So Seiryuumaru is for Ao Ninja. Is this really cool dragon. It's a Chinese dragon style. It's also a motorcycle. I do like the little handle look, but I wish there was something to clip onto. And that answer to that question is yes, because I actually can fit Surfer Maru on here, which is really freaking cool. I gotta say that out of all mecha kind of weird things, I don't think this is ever advertised anywhere, but those hand holds fit Surfer Maru perfectly, and he's the only one with legs that work like this, so you can only look up. You're gonna have trouble with Maru or Pandamaru or Maru, but you probably get Maru. You can probably get, you know, even him, the other one. Can't remember his name. But anyways, yeah, you do have that option, which is actually kind of neat. Yeah, wow. Next up. So that's Genbumaru, which is the turtle. Or it's a tortoise. It's for Ki Ninja. as you can see by the Key Ninja symbol. It's actually kind of neat because this is the torso, which you can tell because there's a head here. It's actually kind of like makes Key Ninja the star a little bit. Cool like cannon look up here. Nice treads that are just wheels. So I mean, he rolls. I mean, the bike rolls too, but you know, rolling, that's the thing. But yeah, because of the way this head works, this is all for later. I wish there was something covering that, or this, you know, instead of just flipping down like this, it just like rotates all the way. It just looks really sloppy from above. This is also the missile feature, so we're going to load these in now while we're looking at it. And we will take a look at the missiles actually firing later, but let's get them all set up properly here, like that. So they're all ready to go. Yep, moving right along. Byakkomaru, which is the white tiger, which belongs to Shurikenjin. Yep, this one has no special features or anything. It's just a little dragon car thing with some tires. That is all. Nothing to write home about. Next up, we have Pandamaru. Now, Pandamaru is actually a little bit more interesting because it's a panda, which we seem to keep getting for like a few years in a row. And we have this little spinning disc. But it's got my one Ninja symbol, and it spins. Doesn't spin when you spin the tires, mind you, but it spins. Alright, that's it. Last one. Magoimaru, it's a little fish. He's kind of neat. Smiles at ya. That's it. It's Kenji. That's these. Like I said, they're not that exciting on their own, so let's get to combining them. Starting off, we will take you, Pandamaru, put the leg up. I think it's supposed to be this way. We'll take Byakkomaru. To release these, by the way, to undo it, there's a little hinge that brings it down, but there's nothing to lock it in place, so it kind of like flops. But, you know, you got that. So they're there. Feet are sturdy. Torso. Extend the leg. Extend the leg. Plug on. Plug on. Move camera. And now we're at the top, so we're going to fold this down, which really seems confusing because you're like, wait, why? You just folded the head away. Don't worry. Don't freak out. It'll all be okay. We'll attach the arm here and the arm here. Yeah, transformation's dirt simple in this. We're going to take the Shuriken, flip down the face, and plug it on. So here is Gekiatsu Dai-Oh, and as you heard, that sound effect is kind of loud and really obnoxious. Now this part here is kind of interesting. Takaharu's mecha just sticks to the top, almost as if you don't need it. Like you could pretend it doesn't even exist, and that he doesn't exist, and that the show's a better place. But you do need to clip them on here to the Shuriken for official sake. But there it is. This is Gekiatsu Dai-Oh. I actually quite like it overall, like I said. I just don't like this. Don't worry, it'll get so much worse in a few minutes. One thing I've noticed is that this arm has like a little bit of extra length to it than this one. The hands are about the same position. Just makes this one really tiny when this one sticks out. But, you know, minor thing. And overall, the components don't do a whole lot of transformation. The most is you fold this down and you fold the feet up, and then you just kind of plug it all together. But other than that, I mean, it's nice, sturdy. It's really thin. I do like, it's not too thin. It's not like Kokyuger thin, but, you know, you got that. Here he is next to Shurikenjin, so you can see he actually is taller. A little bit taller. Yeah, that's pretty much Gekiatsu Dai-Oh. The last thing, of course, we have the back here. So you take this switch and you turn it. And then when you turn it, it's going to turn this whole thing. Oh, look at that. And it's going to launch these missiles. If you turn it faster than I am, they'll launch out pretty good. I'm going to try to like keep most of them on the table here just because there's only one of everybody that's not Takaharu. And I've already failed. There's only they're going everywhere now. And there you go. It's a little bit tricky to pull off. Like if you're just playing with it and you're just like, rah, yeah, it's going to work out a lot better. And the nice part too is if you have this in a different position, and you still want your Ninninger logo to be the correct direction, you can move it. I do like that. That is a nice little feature. But because I really want to be the correct way here, we're going to do that. But yeah, so Gekiatsu Dai-Oh on his own, he's a neat mecha. He's like Gosei Ultimate. It's not going to be like revolutionary, groundbreaking, all that exciting, but it is a fun, like, basic mecha. Like, you can get him on his own, I feel, without needing anything else, because it really doesn't do a whole lot when he combines with other things. Speaking of other things, we have one last really big mecha. That is Lion Ha-Oh, so let's get to it. So here we have Lion Ha-Oh, and it's Flying Fortress mode known as Lion Ha-Ojo. This is quite the mecha. This is something that you only get every once in a while. Except, 2 years later, they came out with Oreo and Battler. But this is just really big. This thing is actually, I'd say, probably heavier than Oreo and Battler. And a little bit bigger, too. But this is what kind of held me up from the line for a bit, but it also is something that holds a lot of people back, where they probably won't complete their Ninninger mecha for months because they don't want to have to pay full price for this, plus the shipping. The shipping's never going to change, so you got to make sure the item price comes down. Now, this guy's barely fitting on my tray table here. I almost considered bringing out 2 of them, but I think we'll be able to pull this off. For size scaling, here is Shurikenjin. Yeah. Lion Ha-Oh is big. Now, he is not the biggest version of this mecha. In fact, for once in their lives, Bandai of America made a bigger version. They did not scale. They did not attempt to scale this down to a normal deluxe Megazord size, which is what they kind of usually do. Like, they did that with the Rhino Steel Megazord, but instead they decided to make it bigger so that the 5-inch figures could sit in the mouth, and make it a 5-inch figure playset you can also stick a Megazord into. But it also made it, like, really big and kind of out of scale in that way. It also was like $125 in a Toys R Us exclusive. Rest in peace, Toys R Us. But yeah, that's something we may look at one day. Just maybe. But for now, we're going to focus on Lion Ha-Oh. It's still a really big mecha who still has some dust on him because he's got a lot of crevices. But I don't know where to begin, so let's look at the tiniest piece of him. Shows that's Ninninger. Like I said, if you got the Super Sentai Artisan Rodeo-Maru, you could get an articulated version of this guy in the same scale with a little piece for his feet, which I may do one day. Plus, he actually has the sword. This one doesn't. This is a very basic figure, but it's got more paint than the Bandai of America 5-inch figure, so take that what you will. He does actually have the ability to sit down, which is important, and his arms are rubbery, which is kind of hilarious, and he is really tiny, but that's about it. He's also not really to scale, and this is the thing in this show, too, that's a problem, is that he's suddenly sitting in the mouth of Lion Ha-Oh, and it's like, well, okay, he actually grew. He had to have grown. Not as big as he did when he did the Ultraman move, but, like, he had to grow a little bit. So anyways, there's that. That's kind of like your basic little bonus. He just stands right there. He doesn't actually peg in, which kind of sucks, but down here on the bottom, we actually have the Shuriken. Again, love the Shuriken when they're attached to the mecha. Once again, blade does come off. This is a really big blade. For some reason, I've noticed this on mine and others. It's like kind of wobbly. Just this Shuriken. It's like the biggest blade, and it's kind of wobbly. But here we have sounds. So your standard Otomonin Shuriken. That's really cool. It's a nice regal sound. That's the only other sound in this, aside from transformation, is actually has 2 different mecha combination sounds, so they limited to that there. Now, what's interesting is that if you did pre-purchase Lion Ha-Oh, I think if you did a pre-order and it's a first run bonus or something like that, you could get the Gattai Shuriken. This is similar to the deluxe chain Shuriken minus the light, and that it takes 3 LR44s, but you do get this as well as the blade. The nice part is that this is a bonus item, and the bonus items sometimes get rare. I picked up this from Big Bad Toy Store in America for like $10, because I think they didn't sell them with their Lion Ha-Ohs, but I really do like this, because it's a nice bonus, because this is something that you use in the series for combinations. But before we put the blade on, same sounds as with the blade on, which we will learn shortly. Ha-Ojo Gattai Nin Shuriken. So you get all those sounds of Takaharu saying things are fired up and all that. But it's a neat shuriken. It does work with the Ichibanto, kind of, sort of. The thing is you have change, attack, and summoning, but not really combination. So we'll just run this now. So there you go, I got something like that. But it's a neat bonus. Most people won't really care about this. I really wanted to see one of these in gold, and we never got that. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But there you go. So that's the shuriken with Lion Ha-Oh. This is not in the box, by the way. This is a separate item in a separate bag. So most Lion Ha-Ohs won't come with this automatically, but if you look around, you can find it. We will reattach. Let's pull him out of there, just so we can show the actual shuriken just plugs right up in here. And then it makes sounds still. What you're hearing there is all of his wheels. He's got a lot of them. They make a lot of noise. Now, transformation for this guy, if you can imagine, is actually dirt simple. All we need to do is pull Takaharu out of here. We need to pull this part, which will become his weapons. They actually peg together really nice. And then we're going to stand him up and change the camera. So from here, we'll rotate him around, bring down the arms, give each arm one of these shuriken. Then we're going to remove this shuriken, pop this. This is going to pop off the top, come down and peg in here. The mouth will open. We'll then take our little tiny that's Ninninger, put him inside, and kind of, he has a peg in the back to peg him there. Take the shuriken, and lastly, we'll put the shuriken on. Now, unfortunately on mine, the actual button to activate the Lion Ha-Oh sounds is too far pressed in, so the little tab is supposed to poke the button. Can't reach it, so we're just going to demonstrate the sounds using this. So there's your experience of the Lion Ha-Oh sound. Sorry I can't demonstrate it properly. I really can't figure out why it's like that. Could be, too, because I've had the shuriken on here in display mode, but I'm not really sure. It's a little strange. But this is Lion Ha-Oh. He is quite massive, using Shurikenjin as a scale once again. Here he is, next to Lion Ha-Oh. Yeah, he's packaged in his robot mode-ish. A couple parts weren't attached, like the arms, but yeah, really big box, really big guy. I do like how he has wheels on the bottom, which not only lets him roll, but he's really easy to maneuver. And I like the overall shape. In the series itself, of course, there's not like this big blockiness. He's much more streamlined, has separate legs, but because of the combination he's going to form, it looks a little different. But yeah, so you got some shoulder movements, nothing too exciting. Some sound effects if yours wants to work, and yeah, so that pretty much is it for Lion Ha-Oh on his own. But, of course, this is Super Sentai, and if it doesn't combine, then it must be Genbumaru. So, let's combine him with a couple other mecha. We'll just go straight into this, because they're sitting right here. We got Shurikenjin, and we have Bison King. So, the combination here we're going to do is Ha-Oh Shurikenjin, also known as the Ninja Ultrazord. Or Ninja Steel Ultrazord. I hope it's Ninja Steel Ultrazord, otherwise we're repeating names again in Power Rangers. Gekiatsu Dai-Oh has a formation of this as well, slightly different, but we're going to look at this version first. So, firstly, let's move him out of the way, because we're actually not going to use him that much. Let's prep Lion Ha-Oh. So to prep Lion Ha-Oh in this whole crazy world, we're going to spin him around, just exactly how he is. You can notice new hands have popped up. We're going to fold these down. Now pop the shuriken off, fold it around, and we're not going to push this down yet, but we're going to leave it there. We're actually going to come around here and pull Takaharu out of the cockpit, stand him up, move him to the side, and we're actually going to stay back here. So this is where we're going to work with Bison King. So Bison King, we take the gun, that's going to go somewhere. We're then going to remove just the, see, how do we do this? We're going to take everything off the legs. So we'll keep the legs off. This is all going to stay as one giant chunk, which is out of focus, giant chunk, but here we are. So let's see, we got that. Try not to get this. There's like a problem is that, intentional or not, the clips are kind of weak on that part of Bison King. So it does fall off. Okay, so we got this. We're then going to come around here. Let me set this down for a second. Take the silver piece off of here. I'm going to pull this out just for this ease of demonstration. These two pieces are going to get married. They're going to live a happy life together, and they're going to be just having a great time. So once those two are together, like this, then they can support a family, which is going to be this whole chunk, which we'll just kind of smooth in, and it'll connect to the gold piece, lining that up. Nope, there's family drama. Okay. All right, the family is stable once again. Okay, so now we're going to take these two pieces here, split them in half. We're going to leave this open, leave this like this. You want to have them kind of angled up instead of angled down, because it'll look good. And we're going to turn this around. We're then going to plug this on to this hand and plug this onto this hand. And now we're ready to dock in another Megazord. Mecha. Whatever Sentai is. So now we're going to take Bison King's gun. Let's just raise this arm out of the way. So you can see that there is a clip here. Maybe not, because it's really dark, but I'm going to clip this right there. So it's kind of got an extra sidearm. It's more... Ow. That's more so because they need to kind of just put parts places. But next we're going to bring in Shurikenjin. Now Shurikenjin doesn't have to do a whole lot. He gets the easy route here. He gets to go on to retirement without having to work for anything. So we're going to take a sword and shield, like this. I'll put them off to the side. Actually, not just going to put them off to the side. We're going to put them onto the side. So we're going to pull this up and around. And we're going to clip the sword. Kind of swooping back here-ish, sort of. That's not enough clearance. What the heck? I don't know why. Okay, we're just going to do that. And we're going to bring the arm back down the correct direction. It's not really 360 arms. It's kind of like fit it whatever direction works. And then we're going to put that on there. Trust me, it's almost over. We're going to take Shurikenjin, and just like Genbumaru before him, we're going to prep his legs like this. He is just going to sit in Lion Ha-Ojo. And he's going to have little controls. So we have robot driving robot driving robot. And to top it all off, figuratively and literally, we're going to add the Shuriken. So here is this madness. These guns actually need to stay tipped up, but here is this madness. How Shurikenjin slash the Ninja Steel Ultrazord. Even if they're just calling it Ninja Ultrazord, I'm calling it Ninja Steel Ultrazord. Let's get the elephant out of the room, or in this case, the bison. Yeah, that's just a lot of just... It's just most of Bison King. Like, they took his legs, and then they just left him with nothing. Like, he just... It's like, here's your legs, we're taking those, we're going to use your back support to start a family, and then you're just gonna be hanging off the back of another robot. Really, there's just nowhere else for that to go. They also took his gun, and they're like, oh no, that's our sidearm now. I like how Shurikenjin's sword and shield have a place. I like how the Bison King gun has a place. And I like how this sits down. That being said, this is probably one of the ugliest super ultra combinations I've seen. I think the Chozetsu Ninja figure up here doesn't make any sense, because scaling, like, he's supposed to be able to sit on this dude's shoulder, and yet he's just chilling up here. We're just gonna move Takaharu's side, but I'm gonna have to pick him up later because we have to use a different mecha. But anyways, this is this is how Shurikenjin. It rolls nice. It's got a little bit of a swinging action, which is concerning because Bison King's pretty stable back here, even with the swinging action. Yeah, this is certainly a combo. yeah, I use this combination on my display simply for space concerns, but other than that, it's not really that great. I think if it had less, if Bison King was more incorporated into the rest of it, it wouldn't be so bad. Just the fact that half of them sticking out back there just kind of sucks for him. But there is a variation of this with Gekiatsu Dai-Oh, where Gekiatsu Dai-Oh's hyperactive Shuriken gets to come back and yell at us more. So let's just rip Shurikenjin out of here. I'm just going to do this on camera because it's not even that different. I'm going to rip him out of here, set him down. We're also going to remove his sword and shield because why the heck would these be here if he's not? And then we're going to just bring in Gekiatsu Dai-Oh. This is where, well, we just lost Takaharu again. Well, now that we got Takaharu back, we can... Actually, we were supposed to remove him. We're going to take the Shuriken off, much to my dismay. But we're going to take Gekiatsu, and remember that extra head that seemed to have no purpose? There it is. It's for this combo. This combo only. They're going to set him down like this. We're also going to fold out this peg on the back, and he's just going to get shoved right into Lion Ha-Oh. I will say this to start. It doesn't look as full right here because it doesn't have the Shuriken. This is one of those, yeah, we made an alternate combo for the Super Mecha, but really we didn't think it through that much kind of things. Like kind of like how the Super Zeo Megazord goes inside Pyramidas is just an option. So next we're going to take the Hououmaru. It's going to clip into the Shuriken on the top, which I know you can't see very well, but it's there. And you're officially supposed to put Takaharu on top, but again, that looks really, really stupid, and it's just adding more parts and layers to this whole thing, so we're just going to take that and... anyways, moving along, this is the part about the Shuriken that I hate, and I'm just going to say it. It's the Gekiatsu Ha-Oh sound. It's long, so grab a snack, and here we go. That sound felt like it never would have ended. This is Ha-Oh Gekiatsu Dai-Oh. It's Ha-Oh Shurikenjin with a different robot in the middle, and a much longer transformation noise. But really, that's about it. I don't have much to say. It's the same exact combination, except with Gekiatsu Dai-Oh instead of Shurikenjin. So, at the end of the day, Lion Ha-Oh is an interesting mecha, and I like him on his own. And I'm just not a big fan of these combinations. It is kind of ludicrous. I think the ludicrousness of, you know, Shinobimaru piloting Shurikenjin, piloting Ha-Oh Shurikenjin, that's kind of fun. But then when you throw Gekiatsu in, it isn't as fun. That being said, I end up using this combo on my display so I can get Shurikenjin to have, like, Pandamaru or somebody, just to get another combination on display. But, yeah, not a big fan of this one, but that concludes the Ninninger Mecha, I think. I'm starting to sound delirious like I've been filming for hours, which isn't entirely wrong. So, in conclusion, is the Ninninger Mecha line perfect? No. Is it good? Objectively speaking. Is it bad? In some ways. It's just kind of one of those middle-of-the-road lines, but it's actually one that I find to be quite fun. I do like these shurikens working with roleplay items. I think that's really cool. I like how they're all have built-in sounds, very Go-Onger-ish, but without leaving holes in mecha if you didn't have a shuriken. I did like how every shuriken that was in the series for mecha was included with the mecha. That's something Go-Onger didn't do, because you had to buy weapons to get some of those engine souls. But, in conclusion, I think that my thoughts have been pretty much made about individual components of this. Not a big fan of the fact there's 4 auxiliaries don't get to do anything. But what can you do? It is what it is. And at the end of the day, it's an alright line. It could be better in a lot of ways, but it's definitely not as bad as some people would say. Ninninger as a series I don't think was that great, but I think that this was a fun toy line between this and things like the Ichibanto and even the burger. it was a fun, interesting, we threw all the ideas into the pot and released them as toys kind of concept, but at the end of the day, there's nothing really that bad. Again, not a big fan of that combo, not a big fan of how this is mixed styles, but at the end of the day, I really kind of recommend it. Whether you go BOA or BOJ, Ninja Steel or Ninninger, I think you're going to get some interestingly fun toys. Obviously, I would recommend the Ninninger versions over the Ninja Steel versions for completionists, because Seiryuumaru there doesn't exist in America, and Ha-Oh's not this scale. So obviously I recommend the Ninninger versions. It's the versions I bought. I made the decision that I did. I got some deals on them, and I pretty much spent probably around the same amount I would have spent on the American releases, with having to buy extra Megazords for these two, and presuming that I had to buy extra Megazords for these two. That just never happened. So it's always take the information you've learned here today and go forth and do with it what you wish. Or if you already bought a set of Zords and you've already made your decision and you're just watching this for fun, well, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of your viewership, and I will be back with more Sentai reviews. Probably not doing an entire line in 3 videos like I did here. Definitely going to do smaller chunks. There's some older stuff I really want to look at and spotlight and highlight, and yeah, that'd be really fun. So stay tuned for more, and till next time, Soundout saying goodbye.